slave masters, the oppressors, will wake up in the morning time.
It's really
Wait, hold on. Listen to what he just said.
dangerous to call people oppressors.
Twiddle your thumbs about, well, maybe we shouldn't call people. There was a slave owner. What? Yes. Yes, that person was an oppressor. What are you talking about, man? This was a slam dunk for you and you still f***ed it up. What the hell? And you expect people to not think you're racist. So we have a video from content suggestions. If you would like to suggest content, you can join the Discord, which is found in the YouTube description below, or you can come to chat and just drop a link here. But this is from the Discord. So we're going to go over a video from a guy who is named Metatron. And we've gone over one of his videos before. Specifically, this video is controversial. Click at your own risk. Where he basically just fascist posts the whole time. Like, he was never explicitly doing fascism, but he was teetering on it, if I recall correctly. So I felt pretty justified in calling him a fascist. But he's got another video that somebody recommended. It is called Reacting to Anti-White TikToks. Why is this tolerated? Yeah, I would like to take a look at what's going on here. Now, as far as being anti-white, I'm in favor of it because whiteness as a concept, it's a construct. Being anti-white as a construct, like, obviously that we recognize people as white now. And so if you say that, like, yeah, I'm racist against white people, what you're implying is that anybody who has a specific tone of skin or is from a certain demographic is somebody that you don't like on the face of it. That's not okay. All right. Now, if you're saying I'm anti-white as in I don't like the concept of whiteness, okay, because it's a social construct that is completely based on exclusivity from the in-group, right? That's how we get, like, throughout history, we've had different groups of people who qualify as white or don't qualify as white. As long as there is an out group to distinguish from whiteness, that's the point of whiteness, right? Is that there's an out group that we can distinguish white people, quote unquote, from. So if you're talking about that construct, I agree. I think that being anti-white is a good thing. It's based, it's pog, it's whatever. So we'll just see how these TikToks go. I might think that the TikToks are cringe along with Metatron. I might think that they're fine. But like I said, ultimately, I just don't care that much if people are like, oh, I hate white people. I don't care. It doesn't affect me in, like, any kind of meaningful way. There's no systemic racism against people who are white. It just doesn't matter that much. So let's take a look at what's going on. He looks like a dweeb. A little bit.
On this video, I'm going to address a current societal phenomenon which seems to have bled into the social media cyberspace we inhabit. As such, being a content creator, I feel...
It's not like a societal phenomenon to, like, be anti-white. Like, that's not real. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a real driving force right now. Anti-whiteness. It's just not. And if you think that it is, you're probably just a Nazi, honestly.
Compelled to address this issue with the gravity it deserves. While unequivocally denouncing all manifestations of racial prejudice across the demographic spectrum, this discourse will focus specifically on the sole form of discriminatory sentiment that appears to enjoy a high degree of societal tolerance online, namely anti-white sentiment. Regardless of backlash or allegations of ideological proximity to extremist factions I may receive due to possible topic overlap, I refuse to allow false accusations and potential repercussions to impede my pursuit of true equality, which is an essential element for our society to regulate itself. Moreover, guilt by association will not prevent me from fighting injustice. I do not hold extreme views of any form, and on this very platform I have debunked this.
You can't just say I don't hold extreme views of any form. You can't just say that, man. That's so stupid on its face. Because I hold extreme views if you ask a Republican. Because I want free healthcare. Free healthcare to a Republican is an extreme view, okay? I don't think it's extreme. I don't personally think any of my views are extreme because it's subjective. But you're claiming that you don't have any. I'm highly skeptical about that.
Historical nonsense across the full political continuum, which is why people of all political persuasions are welcome here.
He talks like an adult Stewie.
Know that. Fighting the injustice that is societally accepted is the true bravery. If you speak against racism towards people of color and minorities, as you should, but are too afraid to speak against anti-white content because you don't want backlash, you are kneeling to the mob and you are known.
I'm sorry, people are not afraid to speak against anti-white content. It happens all the time. People bitch and moan about it. People are not being quiet about it, okay? The only reason people like you think that people are being quiet about it is because people who are actually upset by it are actually quite small. Like, that group of people is quite small, okay? And you just happen to be a part of it, and you want to believe that there are more people like you who are just not speaking up. And that's not the case. Nobody cares. Nobody cares except for you and your buddies, okay? And nobody likes you, so we just don't care.
Hero. True moral fortitude necessitates the confrontation of all forms of injustice, not merely those that engender minimal controversy. It is noteworthy that in the production of this content I initially intended to incorporate and critique racist digital media directed at various ethnic minorities too. However, given that such a...
Yeah, but you know, I just thought that the most important one to address was anti-whiteness. It's really pervasive. That's really the one I care about.
Overt display of prejudice against minorities are
Black holes are
generally
industry
met
review?
with
Really?
swift censor by the system, unlike the more tolerated anti-white sentiment. Even the mere inclusion of such content in the title would have risked the
lot of
removal
stock footage
of this
here.
video. This disparity in treatment is in itself a matter of significant concern and proof of a mechanism of social control. It is crucial to recognize that extreme blind
Here we
linguistic
go.
censorship not only stifles intellectual discourse, but also paradoxically impedes our ability to defend marginalized communities effectively. This
That's not
video
true.
also stands as proof.
That's because you don't understand the concept of whiteness and why people don't like it. That's the only reason. You're not smart, man. This is the same problem as the last guy we just went over. You use big words and long run-on sentences to make yourself sound smart so that people who are really stupid think that you're smart, okay? Now, I'm really stupid, but even I can see through that.
Proof to those who say that such anti-white sentiment doesn't exist. Just watch, and the gaslighting will disappear. Hence, I make this video for the sake of fighting all forms of toxicity equally for a clean and just digital ecosystem.
Yes, you see, when one person is dying of cancer and another person is totally healthy and fine, I look at both equally. And I try to say to myself, well, gee, should I treat one more than I treat the other? Like with medical care? Should I really give more medical care to the one with cancer just because they have... I mean, that's not equality. That's really stupid, man. Okay? White people have had it way too good for way too fucking long, all right? I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Like, my life is great, in no small part due to the fact that my skin is the color that it is, okay? I'm not saying that, like, I didn't work for this, or, like, I'm not trying to kiss black people's feet, or whatever the you think liberals do in their off time, or leftists, whatever. But like, what I am saying is that, you know, I benefit in some ways from the color of my skin. I don't get chased down by police nearly as often. Sometimes I do when I'm speeding, you know, whatever. I was born into a well-off family for the most part. We were pretty well off for all my life because I don't have a history of my family being economically disenfranchised, and that rolls into today. So I've had a pretty good, solid life, and that's due in no small part, as I said, to my skin color. If I were born black, I wouldn't probably have had as good of a life. And that sucks. Okay, so this is not treating people equitably. This is just being a dumbass and probably a white supremacist.
Sphere.
Anti-triage, yeah, exactly.
Come here. There you are.
Well, one house is on fire, but like, you know, all houses are made equal, so I will spray down the one that's not on fire first. Good job, buddy.
There we go. Wow.
That's not fair. That's not fair. He's cheating. Look at that baby. Oh, look at that baby.
Beauty. Are you white? Are you a white supremacist?
I still hate your ass.
No, you're not. You're too nice. Hey there, welcome back to my channel.
Oh yeah, cool. Just gonna, yeah, ruin the moment, man.
Alright, let's check them out and see what they have to say.
Controversial opinion, but if you have a token white and you're hanging out with your friend group of color, you need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. Ask for explicit permission from everyone. Because just because you're comfortable with them.
Right, so it needs to be an...
I mean, what do I even say to this? Like, I'm not black, so I can't, like, I'm not a person of color, so I can't completely speak on that. But I would say, like, listen, if you want to invite somebody to your friend gathering and they think it's important to ask whether or not the person is white, I mean, that's their choice. Like, I understand it. I understand where it comes from. But the onus does kind of fall on the person to ask whether or not that particular person is white, right? Like, you guys should have that internal discussion already. There should be an understanding between friends whether or not that happens. I just feel like it's a video that doesn't really need to be made. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to bring, if your friend group does not want to automatically accept white people, you should already have that foundation. You know, you should discuss that.
Explicit permission, right?
I just feel like it's a little
without
silly.
permission, don't you dare to bring a white person. It's gracious.
Doesn't mean that everybody's comfortable with them. I might
Get it, but if you're comfortable with white people while you're not white means you're a...
Let me tell you something. White people say wild things when, like, even when they're not, like, explicitly racist. White people say some wild shit when there aren't people of color around, or minorities. Like, it really is crazy. And the same goes for, like, sexual minorities as well, and gender minorities, like transgender people. Like, if you're trans and you are like hanging out with your friend and your parents are there, and then like your trans friend leaves, your parents might be like, wow, for a transgender, they're actually really nice. Like that shit happens all the time with minorities of all sorts. Like literally, I had an experience, I won't say who, but we had a black person in the room with us. And after they left, these people who are white were like, wow, you know, like, what did she say exactly? She was so nice the entire time. But then like, the black woman left. And then she's like, you know, like she said some kind of, I don't want to like misrepresent this, but she said some kind of comment about black people as soon as she left. And I'm just like, oh my God, like you can't just say that because I'm white. They're so well spoken. Some shit like that. Exactly. Like it's crazy. So I'm sorry, but like white people already kind of do something like this. I don't do it.
An open-minded person. If anyone in this group is instead not, oh, they don't want to see white people, I don't want to mingle with it, it means they're racist. And if you don't want to use the word racist because technically they...
That racism, though, probably stems from issues due to white supremacy and living in a white supremacist nation, which we do. Like, we still do. Make no mistake. We still have the remnants of slavery creeping up on us all the time today. We live in a and not just slavery, but all manner of things. You know, we had, like, Japanese internment camps and shit. Like, we have a very bad track record of being racially accepting and diverse and whatever, okay? So usually when people are racist against people who are white, it is like those issues stem from the issues that come from white supremacy. You know what I mean?
Dictionary, I'll talk about that on a dedicated video. But whatever, you don't want to use the word racist? Okay, they're still horrible people if they are specifically excluding white people because they're white. But let's see at least if she brings up some real points.
Might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans.
Why? Okay, here's my question. Why the do you want to hang out with people who don't want you there? You know what I mean? Like, why the do you want that? I'm just saying, like, if you have a friend who's got a group, like, let's say you have a friend, like, you're white, right? And you have a friend who's black, and they have a big group of black friends, and that group of black friends doesn't want any white people in their friend group. It's like, okay, but like, why would I even want to be part of their friend group then? I feel like I would just be like the entire time on edge that people just don't want me there, and yet I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, would I take personal offense to it? I don't know. I don't think about this shit. I don't think about this shit that much. I don't care.
That day. That's all I'm saying.
It's not a problem that comes up.
It feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good...
That's another thing. Very rarely does this actually happen. I'm sorry, like, this just does not happen that often.
White person.
What? Don't let them think... Oh my gosh. Okay.
A little
you
silly.
Absolute idiot. IQ level 20. Let me spell it out for you. This is the sensible take. There are bad people, and there are good people in all nations, countries, and ethnicities, right? So the fact that you're saying that basically there are no good white people, if you're saying that it feeds into the ego of white people, because
I thought that part was silly.
That they are good. Yeah, if a good person is a good person, you absolute. Let's continue.
Don't give them.
But it's TikTok, man. I'm sorry, you're just gonna get things like that on TikTok.
That card.
This is not a cultural trend.
People. Please don't do that.
What card? What card? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Right, next one.
Yeah,
Hi
rage
there.
baiting.
You must be new to my
It's gotta
account.
be rage bait.
I say white.
Next one.
Hey, white ladies. Deny.
Hold on. Can you say white properly?
I say white.
Next one.
Was that anti-white? I'm also irritated when people pronounce the H in white. I don't like that.
Hey, white ladies.
White.
Denying racism in your own self is violence.
Okay, so I can't basically.
What does that mean exactly? Like, it's good to like introspect and figure out your own personal biases, but I think that like I do think that there's this weird liberal idea that like all white people need to accept that they're racist somehow. And I'm sorry, but that makes the word racist very not meaningful to me. Like, I have heard that idea come up now and then. Again, not that big of a problem, and it's really silly to sit here and bitch about it. I don't ever. But since it came up, it's like, yeah, I think that idea is a little silly. I think it's good to introspect and, you know, because everyone thinks they're not racist. It's good to introspect and be like, okay, let's break down. Am I racist? When a black person walks out of the room, do I suddenly go, yeah, that was one of the good ones, bucko? You know, like, do you do shit like that? Because if you do, you're probably a little racist, you know? Or do you just, like, treat people as people, you know? Introspect, always. But that doesn't necessarily make every white person a racist.
Basically, I just was being violent, I suppose, at the beginning of this video because I did deny... Oh, well, she's talking about ladies, I suppose. So maybe because I'm a man, it's okay? I highly doubt it. But yeah, so I was being violent.
We need to accept the system that is racist that we exist in and benefit from. Yeah, but that doesn't make me as a person racist. I don't think I'm racist. Do you think you're racist? All I'm saying is you're probably not racist. I know for a fact that I'm not racist because I know what's in my own head, right? So I know that I'm not racist. I've introspected on this. I used to be racist. Okay, that used to be a thing. I was a conservative. You're agreeing with me? Okay, good. We're on the same page. I was a conservative and I was racist because of my parents and my upbringing. And I introspected and I changed my ways and now I'm not racist.
You hurt the entire cause.
I don't understand though. She looks...
I will be honest, I got a little excited seeing a black person IRL. I mean, where does that come from though? Like, are you yourself black? Like, or like, I don't know. Like, like, excited how? Like, this is a person who, I don't know. I would introspect about that. That'd be interesting to kind of, you know, figure out what's going on in your head there.
It's white to me. So she's white. Okay,
if only because of how mono-ethnic my country feels. Oh, okay. So like you see somebody who's of, I see. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You can't really control all the time, like when you get like excited about something like that. That's fair.
She's white.
It's nice to see some diversity. I get what you're saying.
Racism
it comes from a good place.
Lady, but she is a white lady, so she just stated she's racist. So shouldn't she count?
Yeah, that's what liberals do. They like they think that they themselves are like super racist, and so they think that like you gotta like kiss black people's feet or whatever. Like that's not, you're not racist if like, I feel like in a way that almost makes you like, this sounds conservative, but I feel like in a way that almost makes you more racist than if you were just normal. You know what I mean? Like about minorities, just be normal about minorities and usually you're gonna be fine. You know, just treat people like people. We all grew up with racist, and some things we were taught may still be there deep, but is what we learned at 7 really us? You know, I didn't change on many things until directly challenged on the subject. Yeah, in the same way. Yeah.
So herself?
Just introspect.
By
just
denying
make sure that you're keeping yourself in check.
ever had a racist thought. I don't think that way.
Yeah, I've never had a racist thought in my life. Clip it. And I'll say it.
That's bullshit. I've had racist thoughts before. Okay, like I was a conservative, obviously. I haven't had racist thoughts in a minute, but I've certainly had them before.
Proudly.
I wasn't raised that way. That's not how I feel. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You don't have...
I don't think... Please, go ahead.
Have to wear a hood and you don't have to tote around a fucking Confederate flag to know that there is shit inside of your brain that you need to fix.
I think you have got stuff in your brain that you need to fix if that's the...
I mean, what she's saying isn't necessarily wrong. She's just saying introspect. You know, like everyone thinks that they're not racist, but have you actually sat down and analyzed your thought processes, your actions, and thought, do I behave in a way that a racist would behave? I agree with this guy. Oh, with him? Well, I think that she's going a little bit far. I think she's going a little far with it and saying that like everybody's racist if you're white. But I do agree with the premise that you should introspect.
The way you look at people. People have a freedom to self-identify as non-racist, right? We all have the...
Yeah, but you'd probably be wrong. That'd be like self-identifying as like a doctor. He's trying to do this bullshit where it's like, he's trying to like out progressive. He's virtue signaling, okay? He's virtue signaling. He's like, well, I can identify as not racist. No, you can't. Racism is a meaningful term that has meaning behind it. We use it to mean things. And sometimes you're racist, okay? Even if you think you're not. And you probably are.
The freedom to do that.
The fact that you're making this video.
The extreme example you're giving of the KKK and their hoods, of course, it's the extreme example, but first of all, they don't even exist anymore. Second, you can tell with people's actions and with people's words. And yes, there are some people that are secretly racist and use pretend situations, like, for example, they'll attack a person of color and they'll use another like subsidiary reason to defend their attacks. But you can usually tell if it's done with hatred or if it's done on a different matter. Like, for example, no, they just disagreed with that person or they didn't like what that person said, but not because of the skin. The fact that you automatically...
I want to say also, while he's people talking, that this person, this woman, I assume, is probably having, like, she has good intentions, I think. I think that she has a surface level understanding of what systemic racism is. Because systemic racism doesn't mean that every white person is not racist, or is racist. That's not what that means. That means that white people benefit, like, not even benefit. It's more that black people don't have the same freedoms that white people have. In society, or people of color, I should say. Like, they just don't have the same freedoms. They, you know, it's, they get, you know, just for example, they get chased by police more, they get brutalized by police more, arrested more frequently. They're often in bad economic situations where they can't take care of themselves or their families. Like, that's systemic racism. I feel like she just has a fundamental misunderstanding of that.
Practically make an attempt to force the fact that people should now consider themselves to be, regardless of where they're from, regardless of where they're brought up. That's insane. What do you know of the way how we are brought up, for example, in Europe? How do you know? Do you know how people think and how they're brought? No. So then don't speak for us. Don't speak for the way
I mean, you probably are racist, man.
someone is brought up in Sicily. You don't know. Maybe where you are brought up, people tend to be racist. That's a possibility.
Thinks about the fall of Rome like 10 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's proper like fasci racist, probably.
Or else you're still just perpetuating the problems of society.
And I don't believe it.
Look, I don't like TikTok.
It has to be hate farming. It has to be hate farming.
Exactly, and you're just helping her along.
Seriously, things that's not going to be hated on.
I get called a white savior because I can admit the shit that I do.
Isn't white savior something you should avoid? Isn't that one of the things that you...
Not if you're on a Jubilee panel. It was such a fucking dumb comment I made. I was trying to take the piss. It didn't work.
You brought against people, like when white people try to be nice, it's white savior complex. When white people say they're not racist, no, you're actually racist, you're being violent. When white people are being hateful, then of course they're being hateful in reality. So
being a white savior basically just entails that, like, you are a white person who you really are kind of being racist when you do that, because you're like saying that I don't know. I'll drop it.
It doesn't matter what you do.
You never said white savior? That's true. People added that after the fact. I said I have a savior complex.
Person, when you think this way.
But perception's reality, people misconstrued it. It was black versus white. Like, the insinuation was there. It's fine.
This is of course an extreme.
I don't really give a fuck.
This is an extreme. But I'm saying, according to this person, it doesn't matter what you do. You are a problem, no matter what. So, yeah.
Meanwhile, there's women running around thinking that they've never, ever done anything in their life that could possibly even teeter on the edge of racism.
I mean, if you think that, you probably haven't introspected. That's true, but it's also possible. I mean, you could have grown up in a very progressive household and just never given it any thought. Like, if I sit here and think about all of the racist things that I've done, I don't remember any specific acts of racism that I committed. You know what I mean? Like, I've never committed a racist act as far as I know. And if you go back and if I had a perfect rewind, then I probably could find a few times. You know, I know the racist ideas I had, like the whole, the things that I didn't think were racist, the welfare queen racism, right? That's huge racism. And people just have that idea in their heads and they think they're not racist, you know? So, like I said, nobody thinks they're racist. So that's why introspection is important.
Good luck with that delusion. I hope someday you realize that that's not the case.
But as Queen Laura, I think Queen Laura said that she's communicating this extremely poorly.
And you can put aside your white fragility. And
actually, you seem to be extremely fragile.
Freak Bob is calling. Pick up the phone. What are you talking about?
As a person, there's a lot of projecting here. Obviously, not that I am a psychologist. I'd be interested actually to have this examined by a professional psychologist. But absolutely, there is insecurity, there is fragility, there is hatred, there is brainwash.
I think you're overanalyzing. I think this is just somebody who is virtue signaling. It's just virtue signaling bullshit. Like, it's just liberal virtue signaling bullshit. That's all it is.
I think she's been brainwashed by extreme propaganda to the point that now anything that is even remotely divergent from the way she thinks gets automatically her blood pressure up, which must be a horrible way to live, to be honest. I mean, the majority of my day, I'm happy. This person is angry for the majority of their day, and it must not.
You're angry at this person, though. I'm not. Like, I'm not that angry at this person. Okay? There's some TikTok user, some TikTok liberal. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You're angry at them. And now I'm angry at you, so good job.
Be good for your health. Oh, gosh. My intelligence. I'm losing IQ points for you. I hope you appreciate that.
Yeah, mods all look the same.
Give me a like and subscribe. Yes, I'm guilt tripping you.
Dear white women.
I really thought this video wouldn't look like this, given how like the beginning looked with all that stock footage, but I'm kind of glad that there's not like a ton of stock footage. I'm just saying.
Listen.
Okay.
You're only playing this if you value your life.
This is a crazy, crazy drip though, gotta say. Very colorful. Bicolors.
Is to shut the up.
No? Freedom of speech?
Listen,
oh, got him! Oh, got him! Oh, why don't you hear her out first? You know what I mean? Like, this is the problem: is we don't really people like what's his face up there don't really care to understand where these sentiments come from, and so they never actually think like maybe there's a reason, even if they go too far, that people are expressing these sentiments. You know, like, let's really analyze what's going on here, because this person has probably been a victim of racism. If you are a black person in America, odds are you have been a victim of racism. That's just how it is. Okay, so even if you go too far with it, that sentiment still comes from the fact that we live in a white supremacist society once again. And yeah, that chest tattoo's crazy. I love it.
Exclusively to black,
kind of reminds me of Trafalgar Laws
and indigenous women, femmes, and non-men.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have what I like to
hold on. What I need to go back and just hear it one more time.
Listen exclusively to black, brown, and indigenous women, femmes, and non-men.
Lady.
So if you're being charitable, yes, what she's saying is correct. You should listen. Sometimes you should just shut the fuck up and listen. It's okay sometimes to just shut the fuck up and listen, you know? Like, yeah. So if you're being charitable, that's all she's saying. If you're being uncharitable, one concern I'd like to point out is that Candace Owens is black, okay? So if I'm in an argument with Candace Owens and, you know, she's trying to say that like black culture is destroying Western society, and I'm trying to say, well, no, actually systemic racism exists, I feel fine talking about that, you know? But that's only if I'm reading this uncharitably, which again, it's TikTok. It's so silly to get mad at this. It's so silly to get mad at this. Like, how is this actually impacting your life? What's your name again? Metatron? How is this actually impacting Metatron's life? Also, I should move my face out of the way. I'm sorry. Sorry, Metatron. Not that it matters too much, but yeah. Also, sorry, Dubsy. I know that you have your presets, but now you get to change them a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have what I like to call a black supremacist. Someone that believes that the oppression of their ancestors allows them to oppress people in the present.
Yeah, I gotta say, this guy...
Again, you're just reading too heavily, man. You're going too deep. Okay, she's obviously just frustrated at the circumstances of being a black woman in America. Okay, people are really racist, especially against black women. You know what I mean? Like, healthcare is racist towards them. Like, sometimes you're like, do you guys know that black women in America are like 3 times more likely, is it 3 times, I think, to die during childbirth than white women? Isn't that insane? That's insane. And like, there are literally doctors who think just because you're black, that you'll like go in and try to like drug seeking behavior. Okay, which is a real thing, not specifically for black people. Drug seeking behavior is a real problem that happens sometimes. But there are doctors who will assume that just because you are black, you are seeking drugs, like if you're in pain, okay? And that's really harmful. So imagine like some of you probably don't have to imagine going through that, okay? But if you haven't, try to imagine it, that just because of your skin color, a doctor might think that you're looking for drugs to get on when you have like 8 out of 10 pain and are suffering from a pancreatitis that you don't know about because the doctor is like, well, you're just here seeking drugs.
This guy, yeah, nailed it.
Someone that believes that race is the end all be all.
Absolutely, yeah, that's what's interesting. I agree with this guy. And I'm so glad that in the comments in my community, I have so many black people that watch and they're so nice to me. I even met one at the airport the other day. He hugged me. He was very nice. But this type of person...
Hold on, what did you just say?
My community, I have so many black people that watch and they're so nice to me. I even met one at the airport the other day. He hugged me. He was very nice. But this type of person unfortunately exists, and I'm glad that he is calling.
I thought that he meant, sorry, I thought he was saying that like a random black person came up and hugged him in the airport. I'm like, what the
about for what it is. So I appreciate that. I respect him for it.
I worded out no
Someone
matter
that
the
believes
race.
that their life revolves so much around the color of their skin that like a symbiote, race takes over their entire being.
Very true. Very true. That's absolutely true. And I think it's wrong on any side. It's not all about race is not...
Yeah, but when you sit here and say, well, it's wrong when anybody does it, you're completely ignoring the historical context, man. White people in America were not enslaved. Black people were, okay? And just because that is quote-unquote over, even though it's not, if you know anything about the incarceration system in this country, where slavery is allowed, you know, anything like... about our history and how things kind of snowball into what they are today, then maybe you could understand why black people are still suffering. You know, like slavery wasn't the end of it. Jim Crow happened, Jim Crow laws, you know, separate but equal, etc., even though they weren't equal at all. All right. And there are people alive today that didn't have civil rights in America. Like that only happened in the 60s, man. There are people alive today who did not have civil rights. They used separate bathrooms. I've met a couple of them. All right. So I can understand the sentiment.
All about color, and absolutely prejudice can come from both sides. If you appreciate my content so far, and
you know, that sentiment is not people making race their entire identity. That's white supremacists making race people's entire identity. That's where it stems from.
defend the truth.
Yeah, it's not technically slavery when they're prisoners. Yeah.
However, because of this, they gain some...
And if you look at the population of prisoners, it happens to be inordinately black. Now, isn't that interesting?
abilities or social power. And for all the people that don't believe that black supremacists exist, here's your proof.
Throw every resource you have and use your privilege to back us in every way.
I agree.
But does she think it's gonna work? That's what I don't understand. Does she think...
What do you mean? Is it good? It's not a matter of whether it works or not. What? You should use your privilege for good. Yes. You should use your privilege to help people who are not as privileged as you are. That is something that you ought to do. That is a good thing to do. It's not a matter of whether it like quote unquote works. What are you talking about?
You think that's gonna work, or is it just a way to get out her chest? I mean, I don't know what she went through in her life to become like this. What I see, unfortunately, is a person full of hate. And also, let me point this out. When you say white people, that's so weird, because I suppose she's putting in Americans, Germans, Italians, French. Why are you mad?
If she said listen to POC voices, I can get behind that, but telling white women to shut the fuck up while saying that isn't good. I'm not saying that I entirely agree with her message. I'm saying you can either sit here and nitpick it, or you can understand the sentiment and where this comes from, because the underlying issue is white supremacy in the United States, if she's in the United States, which I assume she is. You know, like that's where it stems from. And if you recognize that, then you don't have to sit here and nitpick it. You can just say, yeah, you're right. Racism is a problem, and I try to, use my privilege for good. And when it's not appropriate to speak over minorities, let them have the floor and speak, Yeah, her accent sounds American, yeah.
As someone in Luxembourg.
I'm not interested in nitpicking.
The only crime is lightness of their skin. And that says a lot about how you think.
First of all, are you trying to mind control them? Why?
You never said it was a crime.
Second of all, this woman is the definition of irony. The fact that you can come on this platform and tell a skin color that if they want to live, they need to do and say everything that these other skin colors tell them to do and say, or else...
That is such an uncharitable interpretation of what she said. What the That is such an uncharitable interpretation, man. Come on. You know that's not what she meant. She doesn't want to literally enslave white people. Let's be real.
Without your platform and your well-being...
Absolutely. I mean, he's just... He's
right on the money.
What's his name? The John Raid. Very nice guy. Go follow
Preach.
him.
Being stripped from this earth...
He seems like an asshole. I don't like him.
Mind-boggling to me. You brought up their privilege, yet you're executing yours right in front of our faces.
What are you talking about?
That don't look like oppression to me.
Yes, it's such a privilege to be able to make a TikTok. What? What privilege is she expressing right now?
Looks like somebody holds the social power in this situation.
Yeah, I think the situation is that she gets away with it, so I have to agree with him. It's a different type of social power, historically, when we look at the sort of social power that white people had over black people, which is a historical fact, and I'm not going to try and deny it. I always state the...
He wants so badly for her to get in trouble for this. Like, why? How does this affect you in any way, man? How does this affect... Is there going to be a mob of black people? Are you afraid of, like, a mob of black people coming to your door and, like, stealing you away in the middle of the night or something? And then, I don't know, perhaps then they could, break out their torches and put on hoods and then take you out into the middle of nowhere and crucify you, right? Is that what you're afraid of? Because that happened to black people all throughout American history and still does today, all right? Sometimes literally, sometimes metaphorically. But that's not a real concern that white people have historically had, not based on their whiteness at least, okay? So maybe consider that if that's something that you're like actually afraid of. Otherwise, this just does not affect you.
The facts, how they are presented by history. With that being said, it still is, as he's pointing out, a type of social power, and it's unjust. The sense that she can say whatever she wants.
There's not social power.
Because on social media, as we have just detailed, can you imagine if a white person that was also full of hate but towards black people posted a video
when she says that, that is coming from a place of not having as much opportunity as white people, just based on her skin color. That's where it comes from. When your ass goes on TikTok and says that, if you were to do so, that's usually coming from a place of thinking that black people are inferior somehow, okay? They come from very different places.
They looked exactly like that. It would be deplatformed immediately. So it is a form
yes, and I just explained why.
In a way,
that's a good thing.
But it's
I support
used
that.
The wrong way. It is absolutely being used the wrong way, and it's just not unjust, no matter how you look at it.
The freedoms we have now are because of our fight and struggle. Bet on black. Bet on brown. Bet on indigenous.
Yeah, this is really, it's doing a disservice towards black people.
She's very entertaining.
And indigenous and all of that. Because imagine if someone's only experience or contact, that's not my case, I've been around black people my whole life, and so I know what they are like, and they're not like this. In my experience, in the majority of cases, it's a fringe. It's a loud minority. Imagine if someone's only experience, they never...
Now listen, I've been around them, right? And I know that you know, they're not all uppity like this one. Is that what you're saying, man? Like, come on, just say what you mean.
People, but then they go on TikTok and they see something like this and they're white. What are they gonna think? So you are achieving the exact opposite. You are pushing people to become racist. Not that it's a justification. Racism is horrible.
Essentially, what you're saying is you tolerate black people as long as they don't make you think about things that are uncomfortable to think about. Okay? That's it. You don't like thinking about things that make you uncomfortable.
But racism creates more racism. And it's the same way the other way around. The only way to stop racism for spreading is to block it from all sides and treat people equally and treat people fairly and treat people based on the contents of their character, not...
Once again, if you can recognize that a cancer patient needs more medical treatment than somebody who is perfectly healthy, you recognize that they require unequal levels of care and treatment, okay, based on their conditions, all right? So in the same sense, if you have a black person who has been economically and perhaps even physically impacted by the history of racism in this country versus a white person who has not been, okay, that person would need some leverage, you know? They would need a little bit more leverage because of their circumstances, because of the history of racism in this country, right? That's just how it is. And we have white supremacy to thank for that.
The color of
you made
skin.
me a Nazi,
That is the only way to defeat racism at the societal level. The only way.
Right now in society, black people are not equal to white people economically, okay? Like statistically, this plays out. Economically, there are way higher levels of incarceration of black people than white people, even when they don't commit crimes that would warrant that. Like I said, black women especially and have way higher maternal mortality rates. There are all kinds of stats that you can pull up that prove that white and black people as groups in this nation are not equal, okay? And that's a problem. And that's all people like, you know, that woman were trying to point out. That's it. That is it. I can understand the frustration even if I don't entirely agree with the exact wording of the message. I understand where the frustration comes from.
To remind people that white supremacy is everywhere.
Ugh,
because in order for true equality to
Here, watch this. This guy right now. Cartoon, you made me become a Nazi. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah, you do this. I just hate to do this. I feel bullied into doing this. Yeah. You know?
happen, white supremacy has to be dismantled.
Oh gosh, she's so annoying.
She's not wrong, though.
That is basically taking a
Didn't that woman get fired? Did she? I don't know.
Word that is neutral and turning it into a slur. That's what she's trying to do. And if she did it only with white supremacy, I'd still find it annoying because it's just the sound that is annoying.
Oh my god, did you just say you're trying to turn white into a slur? Is that what you think? That she's like slurring you? Get man, this is so pathetic. Like you have a victim complex, man. You have a victim complex. Stop.
Annoying. I don't want to watch.
You're not being hurt by these people. They're not
spitting.
hurting you.
I'm not interested in that. But if she only did it with white supremacy, I'd be like, whatever. But if you do it with white, it automatically means that you are pretty much spitting onto the.
What? I'd be curious to know what ethnicity he is, because I'd be willing to bet that there was a time and place that he would not be considered white. You know, like, I'm just saying, if you're Irish today, you're considered white. If you were Irish in the 1920s and 30s, you were not considered white. Now, isn't that interesting? Because, like I said, whiteness is a social construct, and that's what people are upset about. He said he's Sicilian. Is that not white? Am I having a dumb moment? Sicily? Italian. Oh, well, there you go. So he's not white, he's Italian.
The face of the entire group of people, the entire category, and that is despicable. Despicable.
And a lot of people are not even aware of their use of whiteness unless someone like me points it out by calling it white. In your case, you...
I can't stand that.
How does she have followers? I mean, 10 seconds, not even
I
10
agree,
seconds
honestly.
in, and I already want to, like,
It's really
uninstall everything, the entire app. I want to uninstall it. How does she have... Is it like a hate following? Like
Maybe
one of those
man.
accounts that gets views to
Good
hate?
idea.
Or does she actually have people that are like, yeah, you tell them? Oh my gosh, the type of people that she's probably getting. I wouldn't want to... Oh my gosh.
As a white woman, telling an Asian woman how to speak on her account is a pretty white privileged mindset. Because I would have never thought to go to your account.
This is so strange because in my experience, I mean, I have lived in Asia for 4 years.
I don't think it's racist to tell you that you're being really annoying when you say white like that, okay? White, okay? It's really annoying. It's not racist to say that.
And I have never met a person like this.
Saki Tanuki with the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. What do we got here?
They're about to execute us when a rebel officer sees one of our passports and shouts, "Wait, these aren't whites. They're Italians."
There you go. See? So he's not white. He's Italian.
Every single
Thank you very much
Asian
for the 5
person that I've met, no matter what country they were from, were lovely. Were very polite.
They're Italian.
Occasionally, I had a couple of colleagues at work that were nice, but then again, it was a work thing. But the majority of people that I've met were so polite and so nice. This is like, if I can I say that? If I were Asian, this would annoy me even more, because I would be like, don't you put me.
But you can't possibly, like, you can't know that. You're not Asian. I feel like you can't say that. You know what I mean? Like, well, you know, if that'd be like saying if I were black, that something would annoy me. And like, how the f are you going to say, how are you going to say that? You can't do that. You know, you can't do that.
With you.
You have no idea how you feel.
As you.
Your life would be completely different.
And say, hey, your face is really annoying. You should change your profile photo. I would never say that to you.
Well, you do worse.
I mean, I'm not personally a fan of it just because you have food in your mouth and your mouth is open, and that's kind of gross. Okay? I don't like looking at chewed up food. That's why I would say change your profile picture. But you know what? It's a free country. I can't control what you do.
To you.
Well,
it's
you
allowed.
Do worse. You do worse. I mean, yes, that would be
also not racist to say
place. I mean, you can say it, but it would be stupid. But the fact that you keep doing that,
he is picking some pretty low-hanging
the
fruit.
person just commented that is annoying, and it is objective.
How many followers did she have, by the way? I want to see. 25 followers? Are you kidding me? Dude, she's gonna get a lot of hate. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, brain's a little slow today.
So yeah, that's a critique that I think is very on point. I agree.
I feel nervous punching down when it comes to like people who have like 5,000 subscribers. Brigaded, thank you. Like people who are smaller than me, I'm like, I don't know if I want to touch that. I don't agree with them, but like I don't want to get them hate mobbed. And here he is, 25 follower Andy over here on TikTok. You know, just a liberal, right? I'm sorry, just like what seems like just a liberal who doesn't completely understand what she's talking about, probably, or like at worst, or at best, you know, maybe she has some good points, you know, but like, who said it? Yeah, Lady Nova said, you're going after the low-hanging fruit for sure.
Like, that would have never crossed my mind. Like, who am I to tell you that? And you should have awareness of your actions. You as a white woman telling me how to speak is tone policing. And that's
No, it's not. Okay, now I'm pissed because all I'm telling you is that pronouncing white like that is annoying and grating, okay? So yeah, you have the right to do it. I'm not saying you don't have the right to do it. You certainly can. But I have the right to tell you, hey, you're being annoying. Stop pronouncing it like that, okay? Or else I'm not going to watch you.
behavior that's very common among...
So basically what you're doing It's very manipulating. It's a very manipulative approach. But what you're doing, you want to tell people, don't you dare tell me how to speak. But probably people are not telling you how to speak. And that annoys you because you're expecting people, obviously white people, to be doing that, but they don't. No one is telling you how to speak. Maybe you even got some nice engagement before you started doing this. So
it's just rage baiting. You just fell for the rage bait, man.
Oh, you
That's all it
needed to
is.
create a pretext. In other words, you
did it on purpose to get
out
clicks.
like this and mispronouncing the word on purpose because you knew it would have generated a response, so that then you can basically victim blaming. That's
and
what you're
you
doing,
fell for it.
People for having the response that you purposely caused by design.
It's a funny bit. Disagree. I think it's annoying.
I see through you. It would be like me
he's so smart,
to a
man.
stranger and telling them,
not like a dipshit like me could figure it out in 2 seconds.
you're an idiot, and they tell me, don't you call me an idiot, and I'm like, don't you tell me what to say. It's
white women. You may have not intended that, but there are many white women who act exactly like you. So
Please move
that's
on.
why I say white, to raise your awareness, because it's so ingrained in you, you may not realize it. And maybe next time when you're about to do the very same thing,
don't do it again.
My annoying white
there it is.
will ring in your ear.
Oh no, it won't stop you. It will cause this to happen.
You know what? She's being ableist because I find that very grating, and I'm ADHD, and there are certain noises that really grind my gears. So actually, that lady's being ableist against me, if you think about it.
50 times fold multiplied by an exponential factor.
That's good.
That's what's going to happen. Because then people get fed up. I think they should completely ignore you. I'm never, ever going to watch anything you post ever again in my entire life. Don't want to have anything
Same
to
here
do with the likes of you. Meaning, before people say, he's being racist. No, I love Asian people. I mean,
no, I nobody was going to say you're being racist. Although, like, you know, this whole video's premise is rooted probably in some latent racism that you have.
This kind of mentality, this kind of person, she's poisonous inside, clearly. Oh, this is going to be a long...
Or at the... I'll even grant him this. Let's say that he's not racist. At best, you have not introspected about where these sentiments are coming from. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel the need to make a video like this and be offended that, like, there's anti-white sentiment in some places sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel offended by that because I understand where it comes from. I don't always agree with it. I don't always think it's good, okay? Very often it's not good, okay? But the solution is not to sit here and nitpick these people. It's to solve white supremacy in our nation. She has 549K followers on TikTok. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, then why was that? Oh, was she on the other person's account? Now I'm confused. That was a different account? Oh, so she was on somebody else's account. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, okay, never mind. False alarm. She's not like a tiny TikToker. So he didn't go after somebody who was tiny.
Long day. Next one. Things I do for you.
My apologies.
Next one.
My guy.
Hey.
So let's talk about where the word good morning originated.
Love your
from.
tattoos.
Good morning. All right, so during slavery time...
Oh, no. I mean, she might be... This person might be completely accurate in what they're about to say, but I'm sorry. Good morning is just like a common phrase now. It doesn't have like... When people say good morning, it's not racist. And yeah, this is probably also bait.
Times when the women used to mourn about their child being taken away and sold to a different slave master, or if one of the family members did something that resulted into them getting whipped or killed, most of these things used to happen in the evening time.
What? I'm sorry, but oh my gosh, I need to let her finish and then I'll tell you where the word good morning comes from an etymological perspective. Right, so I think I know where she's going with this.
When a child was sold off or somebody was getting whipped for something, the black women used to cry all night behind it. Not even just the women.
No, of course I'm not like I don't want to dismiss the suffering that people that unfortunately
I don't think
have to
that's
do with
true.
slavery
Like,
dealt
no,
with.
I
just don't think there is anything.
Sorry, I don't think it's true that good morning came from that, is what I'm trying to say.
Linguistic connection to the word good morning.
The earliest known use of the word good morning is the Middle English period 1150 to 1500. OED's earliest evidence for good morning is from around 1450 in Siege Malaine. Sege? I don't know. Good morning is formed within English by compounding etymons. Good, adjective, morning, noun. Well, yeah. Yeah, so so this is kind of bullshit what this person's saying. But like, again, who cares? I wouldn't care enough to make a whole video about it.
At all. Like, nothing. Completely. So, mourning is not mourning this, right.
The black people in general, all the black slaves, male or female, when something happened to a family member.
So what happened before that? Like before all of this, because imagining you're talking about the intercontinental slave trade and all of that. So before that, how did they say good morning? I imagine because there was no good morning because there was no morning, right? So I'm just trying to understand.
Or a close friend or anything, they used to cry all night behind it. And when the slaves used to cry about what happened all night long, the white slave masters, the oppressors, will wake up in the morning time.
It's really dangerous.
What probably happened is that person was told that by somebody and they just believed it, like outright, and went spreading it to other people without fact checking it. That's probably what happened. And that's as deep as it goes. You know what I mean? Like, you can call it silly. You can say that, like, you're wrong, because that person is wrong. But that's about as far as it goes. That's as far as it goes. Like, you don't have to sit here and say that person's being racist against white people, okay? Like, you don't have to whine about it.
Dangerous to call people oppressors. Now, given... I'm not saying that you shouldn't speak up.
Wait, whoa. What'd you just say?
White slave masters, the oppressors, will wake up in the morning time.
It's really...
Wait, hold on. Listen to what he just said.
Really dangerous to call people oppressors.
If you're a slave owner, I feel like you're completely justified in calling somebody like, if you were to call a slave owner an oppressor, I feel like that's fine. You know, like, you don't have to sit here and like twiddle your thumbs about, well, maybe we shouldn't call people. There was a slave owner. What? Yes, that person was an oppressor. What are you talking about, man? This was a slam dunk for you and you still f***ed it up. What the hell? And you expect people to not think you're racist. You just said, let's let him finish.
Now, given, I'm not saying that you shouldn't speak about the history, how it happened. Although then again, to speak about historical facts.
The slave owner was an oppressor.
Those historical facts, rather than probably repeating something you've heard another TikToker say.
Okay, but even if what that person is saying about good morning is not true, what they're saying about slave owners beating black women into the night is absolutely true, okay? They did much worse things than that, mind you, okay? So that part's true. And that person calling that slave master an oppressor is 1000% true. Why is he focusing in on this? What is this? Like, are you kidding me? This was easy. This was an easy one. The person was completely wrong, man. You had it in the bag and you fumbled it. What the f? I don't care about the morning thing, but it sounds to me like a young black person coming to terms with her ancestry and the legacy it left and her pain surrounding it. Yeah, exactly. Like, even if what this person is saying is completely not true about the etymology of, is it etymology, I believe, of the phrase good morning. You guys understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm not getting very much reaction to this, but like, he literally just said, like, maybe it's not so good to call the slave master an oppressor, sweaty. Like, that's, hello? Are we just gonna ignore that? You're correct. Thank you. I love you, chat. I just like it feels like that's a big deal.
See, TikTok does not amount to research. TikTok is not research. But
okay,
absolutely talking about slaves and slave owners and all the things they did, absolutely.
That involves oppression.
Is a topic that I'm always in favor of speaking about, precisely because it was a horrible thing. Although then again, slavery
that involved oppression.
Before the Europeans did it, and slavery was part of, unfortunately, every civilization in the world, wherever, with regard...
Okay, that's a white supremacist dog whistle. Yes, that is true that slavery was perpetuated by many races in many places, in many ways. But in America specifically, it was perpetuated by white slave owners against black people. And that's why we have systemic racism still in this country to this day. That's where it stems from. That is where it stems from. That's where systemic racism comes from. It was white slave owners and black slaves. Okay? You didn't have white slaves in America, unless you're talking about now when they're in jail. All right? But largely, if you were black, you were a slave in America.
Regardless of the skin tone. And it's something that should be condemned, and it's great that we have made slavery
condemn it everywhere all the time.
With that being said, though, you're making up facts.
Just ignore the fact. Just ignore the convenient fact, like conveniently ignore the fact that it was perpetuated by white people against black people in America for hundreds of years.
Linguistic standpoint, here's how history is done. You mention something and then you say who said it, right? Oftentimes I talk about it. Wegetius said this and then I say it, or Plutarch said this and then I say it. If you don't do that, you're just repeating a story you heard from someone else, and I don't believe it's a credible source. Why? Because also your linguistic one clearly.
That part's probably true. That person probably heard that from a friend and then repeated it. You still said that slave owners are not oppressors.
Has no source whatsoever. I don't know how much more of this.
Or that it's dangerous. Sorry, being charitable, that it's dangerous to call people oppressors, even when they own slaves.
This is a pretty long one. I think I'm going to stop it halfway through.
And they'll tell the slaves,
this up?
Did you have a good morning? Basically, did you have a good cry out?
No, I can't have that. Sorry. That's the origin of good morning. What was before that? Bonjour? Buongiorno. What about buongiorno? Guten Morgen? What about guten Morgen? Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? Next one.
White people do not have an overarching
I can't believe he flopped that hard on that one. That was an easy one for him, and he still flopped it.
culture. If you were to say that, like, if you were a specific white ethnicity,
Is it racist for white people to want to only date white people? Yeah, probably. Like, if you have... So people have preferences, right? People can have preferences for, like, blue eyes and whatever hair color or whatever. But usually when you have a preference, if you're white and you have a preference for somebody else who is white, usually that's not just aesthetic. Like, you should really introspect on that one, you know? Especially if you feel the need to go around telling people that, like, you only want to date other white people. Like, that's really fucking weird to say, man. Probably should keep that one to yourself. Keep that one in the drafts, my dude.
and you only want to date within your ethnicity,
You can't just go
that's
around
different
saying
because that's
that.
for cultural reasons. But if you're white saying you only want to date white people, that's incredibly suspicious to me, and
Yes!
You should check your racial
Agreed.
biases.
Hold on a minute.
Agreed.
So, if a white person just wants to date white people...
In a completely neutral society, I think that it would be fine to have a skin tone preference, okay? I think that's fine. In a vacuum, I don't care that much about a skin tone preference. But when you're specifically going around, especially saying white, right? Instead of like, I would rather date German people, you know? Or I'd rather date Irish people or Italian people, both of which are not historically white, but now they are. Okay? Like, that would not be as suspicious to me. It'd still be a little bit probably, but not as suspicious, you know? Like, at least then I could say, oh, it's probably a cultural thing. But when you're saying, listen, yeah, that one was totally fine. I completely agree.
I mean, anyone is free to date whoever they want.
It didn't go as hard as I thought it would.
If I have a son or a daughter, and they tell me, hey, Dad, I want to date...
Yeah, but you might date if you're a white person and you only seek out other white people to date, you're probably racist.
This white chick, I'll be like, please go ahead. And
Probably.
if they tell me, hey, I want to date this black chick, black girl, Asian girl, I wouldn't be there. I don't know, did you check your racial background? What about people of color? No, they choose who they want to date, and then I'll tell them, tell me about this person. Tell me about them. I won't be like, I don't know though, because you got to have your inclusivity boxes. I'm not happy that your last two girlfriends or your last two boyfriends were white. What about black people? I mean, maybe she didn't meet or he didn't meet a person that belongs to that specific group that they felt a connection with. And if they do, that's great. If they don't, oh gosh, these people. Why do you have to make everything...
If the morning's good, that means the fish are biting? Gotcha.
...racist when the people that are obsessed with race is you? This is the insanity of this.
No, wait a minute. If you're saying I want to exclusively date white people, you're the one obsessed with race, to some extent at least. You're at least concerned about it, okay? You're concerned about people's skin tone when you say, I only want to date white people, all right? And you know, that could very well come from just a physical preference. And if that's the case, I still wouldn't go around saying, I'm a white person who only dates other white people, guys. Hello? Hello? Like, that's not a good thing to do, man. In the society we live in, you shouldn't do that. So usually when people say that, they're just being a racist.
It's the delusion of the fact that the people that are speaking...
But should be allowed to only date white people.
...are obsessed with race in the first place.
Here's the thing. You're allowed. Okay? If you want to be somebody who exclusively dates white people for whatever reason, you're allowed to do that. But you should probably introspect about where that comes from, okay? Like, I'm sorry, but my dad was pretty racist about that. He was like, well, son, you see, I wouldn't... It's just that black people, you know, cultures are different. It's racism. Racism. That's usually where it comes from. If you don't want to date non-white people because that would be race mixing, because you don't want mixed race kids, or you think there's something wrong with black people inherently, that's really fucked up. If you just prefer lighter skin tones, that's probably okay. Like I said, in a vacuum, the skin tone preference wouldn't be a problem. The problem is that we live in a racist society that favors white skin, okay? White supremacy. So, like, I would sooner think that if somebody's like, I only date white people, that's coming from white supremacy. Even if you're not white yourself. You know? Like, there are people who are way too comfortable of all you know, there are people that come from certain races that are way too comfortable saying, I only date white guys. And I think that's also problematic. I would never date white guys. I would never date people who are concerned to this extent with whiteness. You know what I mean? Oh, because I don't date guys. Nice.
It's not even noon yet, but we're gonna get into another episode of Are You White?
I love the sword guy's slow march to this point. Yeah, it's very unfortunate to see.
Yes.
Or are you fucking white?
Not this person again.
No.
Why?
Oh no, not her. Not her again.
Yeah, skip
This
it.
is a great example of why you can never get too comfortable with white people. Because it didn't start out bad, right? In fact, some could even say this is a compliment. Getting with the program. Complicated because you didn't come up with it?
I mean, I personally find it a little bit tricky to use chopsticks. I don't know if this specifically comes from racism, but it is a little, I don't know. Like, I don't care that much.
Because you didn't come up with it? Funky on my favorite?
Funky soups.
What is that? You're white.
She's rage baiting, dude. She is rage baiting.
This sort of behavior actually creates more racism, and it's a horrible thing. And at the end of the day, it's not good for anyone, and it's spreading poison. Driving division is precisely what this kind of stuff is, and I'm also starting to think that that's why this sort of stuff is allowed at the moment. I could be wrong. Of course, I'm not into conspiracies. I need data. And
it's allowed because white isn't a real race. It's not a real race, man. Okay? You're Italian. I'm German. Some people are Scottish. Some people are Irish. Some people are English. Some people are Spanish. And you know what? Whether or not they're white is up for debate, depending on the context and time in which you live and place that you live. Okay? We're even calling, historically, Hispanic people have not been considered white. Now, many Hispanic denominations are. Okay? And usually, it just depends on how white your skin is. You know? That's all it's based on. It's just based on exclusivity, based on how light your skin is. That's all it is. Okay, so there's no white race. And so you can't, that's what people mean when they say you can't be racist against white people. All right, and I think that's like an optically bad line to use, because you can be racist against, like, you can be hateful against people based purely on their skin tone for being too light-skinned, you know? Like, that is a thing. But when you say you can't be racist against white people, what people mean by that is, if they're using it properly, is that white is not a race. You can be racist against Germans. You can be racist against Italians. You can be racist against Scottish people. But you can't be racist against white people because we made it the fuck up.
Facts to present. This is just a little inch that I'm starting to have as I look at this. I could be entirely wrong, but I'm just saying I think division is precisely what these sort of TikToks are creating, and what this sort of approach is creating. And in a way, it's kind of trying to distance people as much as possible so that they can be then separated into groups, and then these two groups can be managed more easily. I mean, at the end of the day, this doesn't come from me. It comes from the book Propaganda by Brunet. And
they always bring up their precious books, man. Yeah, I don't care.
Makes sense. That's why it's considered permissible, but I don't think that it's right that, as he says, that the opposite wouldn't fly. Not that I want to see the opposite. I don't want to see any of this sort of stuff. No one is forcing you to be around white people.
Yeah, but it's a lot bigger problem from one side than the other, historically, and now.
If you hate white people so much, and even more so, why making content about it? I think that's the worst part. Oh no, the comments.
You are also currently in the process of making content about it. You could have just ignored it, like I do, and like every other normal person does.
This is so bad. Once again, even in the comments, and I get comments like that. Yeah, the ugly white people lips. If that's not racist, I don't know what is. But the thing is that the way...
Yeah, you can have ugly white people lips, or you can have beautiful German lips, or beautiful Scottish lips, okay? You know, like again, when you use white in the context of a race, it just doesn't work.
It appears to be, and honestly, I do feel
but
very
in that sense, I don't
gaslit
care.
Now with the people telling me this doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. We just saw it together, and I think it's despicable. It's disgusting.
And it's not impacting your life.
People do it, but also,
if anything, you're benefiting from it, really, because you get to make content on it, and then 100,000 people watch it and think that this is like a real problem. Okay, it's called a grift.
That then the public as a whole, people are trying to gaslit us into thinking, oh no, it's not happening. I think we just proved it. It is happening, and it's a horrible thing, and I condemn it 100%. Here's the thing about me. I absolutely hate racism in all of its forms. It's just one of the things that it's deeply rooted within me. I think it's really wrong to judge people, mistreat people, say hateful things towards people.
Yeah, especially when they're slave owners. Don't call them oppressors, right? Right, buddy? Right?
Because of the color of their skin, because of their ethnicity, and the way they look. Now, when it comes to social media and the way we experience it in our day and age, when it comes to all sorts of platforms, I want to say that the majority of like actual racist stuff that you would say like against black people, against brown people.
Yeah, people saying white on TikTok is like his biggest problem, yeah. It's like, I'm so sorry that your sensitivities were affected by that, man. That sucks. I don't care. Nobody gives a shit, all right? Get
against Asians and all sorts of different ethnicities. It's generally speaking not only frowned upon, but, you know, it's not a thing that we tolerate. And I think rightly so. It is absolutely wrong to do that. And yet, being hateful towards white people tends to get a pass on social media. Now, whenever I say this, that it's wrong to be hateful and say horrible things towards white people because they're white, when I say it's wrong, it's a...
But like, what horrible things were they saying? Like, what actually were they saying? You know what I mean? Like, the worst that I heard is, like, if you're a white woman, you should sit down, shut up, and listen to, like, people of color or whatever. And, again, if you read that charitably, you can interpret the frustration that comes from the racial divide in this country, which is real, okay? If you interpret it charitably. Now, you can sit here and nitpick it. I don't agree with everything that she said, but I agree with the sentiment, okay? Sometimes as a white person, it's good to just sit down and shut the fuck up, like you should do sometimes. Have you ever thought about that? Just sit down and shut the fuck up sometimes.
Thing. People tell me, oh, it's not a thing. It's in your head. It doesn't happen. That's what I
you all the
sometimes get
time
in the comments, both on Twitter and on YouTube. Now, another thing I really dislike is gaslighting. I hate gaslighters, and I very much dislike being gaslit. Okay, anyways, I think I...
What? Where was the gaslighting there? Where was did I miss the gaslighting? There was no gaslighting. There was no gaslighting. The closest I could approximate is that one person saying that, like, you're inherently racist if you're white. That's not gaslighting, though. Is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. But, like, even if you were to say that that's gaslighting, I'm sorry. Anybody who actually knows about these issues knows that person was operating on a very surface level idea of what systemic racism is and what it means to people of color, you know, and how it affects them. You know, it doesn't mean that every white person is inherently racist. What it means is that every white person does not have to deal with a lot of the shit that people who are black have to deal with, okay? Just based on their skin color. That's what that means, right? And some people are very poor at communicating that idea and misunderstand it, but that doesn't mean that where they're coming from is the wrong place. You know, that person, even though I disagree with their message that all white people are racist, is not coming from a bad place. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's true that not all white people are racist, and saying so is stupid, okay? You're not inherently racist on account of being white. But when somebody says that, what do I think, right? Where is that person coming from? They're not coming from a place of, I hate white people are the worst, just because. They're usually coming from a place of, like, especially if they're white, like, I'm trying to understand the plight that black people and people of color have had to go through in this nation's history and what they're going through now. That's usually where they're coming from. It's a good place they're coming from, even if they're wrong. And I feel like it's important to recognize that, you know? Like, you don't have to be the best messenger all the time on everything. Sometimes I can just tell that you're coming from a good place, you know? Whereas this guy just takes it personally. You're a little bitch, man. You're a bitch. You take everything that these people do personally as an attack on you and your skin color, when sometimes it's just trying to understand the plight of people who are not like them. That's all it is. You know, at worst, they're joking, you know, or misunderstanding some things. But I still don't think they're coming from a bad place. You can't have this job because you're not BME. BAME. What's BAME? The fact that he had to go looking for minuscule TikTok accounts to find evidence to fit his narrative proves how small of a problem it is. That one lady was actually quite large. A large account. I'm not going to sit here and say that the TikTok's account were small. I don't care to look. I don't really give a shit. The point is, most people in most places are not going to see them. And, like, even if they do, these TikToks are not going to largely impact, like, the status quo. They're just not. And the status quo right now is heavily tilted in favor of white people and against people of color.
I've seen enough, and I am absolutely convinced that indeed people that hate white people absolutely exist, and unfortunately they have a space on social.
Why? Why do they exist? Let's talk about it. Why do people who hate white people exist? Is it just because? It just came out of nowhere, you know, they just hate white people, you know? Or does that actually come from somewhere? Should we sit here and analyze that? and talk about real solutions as to how we can fix that problem. You're not interested in that. That's why people call you a racist.
Social media. And so it's important, I think, to show it, because it's the only way. It's the only way to get rid of racism and to get rid of disparities in the way we treat other people, is to condemn every single form. So absolutely do send me, usually on Twitter, that's when I get them, or on X, do send me TikToks that you find that do the opposite. If you find TikToks that are being disparaging, insulting and racist towards black people, towards Asian people, towards brown people, any sort of people, feel free to send them to me.
Dog, you made a video about anti-white TikToks, okay? You could have chosen any race and you chose white, right? And that's not even a real race, mind you. Maybe there's something to explore there, man. I'm just saying.
Be more than happy to react and condemn them too. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. And of course, feel free to send any, for example, historically incorrect TikTok, so we kind of focus.
Also, it's such a worm, slimy way of trying to, you know, make it seem like you're the good guy. You know, like, oh, send me any, guys. Send me any forms of racism. I will definitely do something with them. If it's against black people or Asian or whatever else. I know that this video is specifically about racism against white people, right? But like, I'll take any old. You're spineless, man. Shut the fuck up. You're spineless.
Some history rather
just
than
own
talking
it.
about
Just own
race
it.
Social situations next time, and then I'll make absolutely those videos too. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the Metatron is spread his way.
Okay, yeah. White is not a real race, and therefore you can't be racist against white people. I've spoken. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.